All right, here we go.
Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom. This is the written instructions for what we're about to go through. It shows a section of the keel and then the rudder, and there's written instructions, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. So what we're going to start with is the bulb template, and it's very clearly marked, the keel bulb. Basically at a 90 degree to the bulb bottom and port and starboard 90 degrees. This gives you the general contour of what the bulb should be looking like. So as you place the templates on, you can see your highs and lows just by the light. All right, so that's the very simple. That's just the bulb, 90 bottom, 90 port and starboard and bottom. So next we're going to talk about the rudder. The keel, deep keel. And there's two set points that you use to establish set point 1 and set point 2 for section A. And this is the bow or the front of the keel that goes up against the hull. And this gives you the set point here. This is set point number 1 here. Mm-hmm. And then from the aft, again against the hull, this in the center line, this gives you the set point number 2 here. So that establishes these 2 points, 1 and 2, for the section A.
Okay, so the keel will be...
The keel is here. This is the stern.
Okay.
Stern of the boat. And you basically just put this up on the center line and up against the trailing edge of the keel here.
Yep. And
you establish that point.
Got it. Okay.
Same thing on the front. This just goes on the center line, and you establish number 1.
Okay.
All right. And then at that point, you can draw a line or trace a line on both port and starboard. And then we have the, let's see, the first one is section A. Here it goes. Section A. Again, this goes, here's your center line of the keel. And then here's your the end point where the keel should be, somewhere around this end point. It might be a little longer if you have never had this done. You may find that the keel is a little bit long.
I've had some repairs done too.
Yeah, we all have. So this is section A. It basically goes on that line from set point 1 to 2. You set this up, and again, you pick your highs and lows.
Yep.
And you establish that particular plane. All right, so next is that you've got that out of the way, section A. Next is we take the tape measure in metric, and I'm going to leave this with the kit and basically measure down, and we're going to establish from section A, we're going to go down to section D, and there's 2 measurements, one on the aft portion of the keel, 788 millimeters, it's written up. Yep. And then on the front, it's 901 millimeters to the next section. And then once those 2 points are established, you draw a line. It should be parallel with the upper section. And this is the section D. Same thing is that you have the legal limit at 788 millimeters down from the first. Huh? No, just put it in the middle there. No, I'm the only idiot who'll hit it. Sorry. And then 901 on the front. Pretty self-explanatory. This gives you section D. Yep. All right. So what I do is once these are established, I basically take a straight edge, a 2-foot level, 4-foot level, and I establish section B and C. We don't have templates for those. But basically, you want a straight line down from A to D, and when you're looking at the keel, either front or back, you just want to run it straight down from one section to the other.
Got it.
When you're fairing. Okay, now really important thing about those 2 on the deep keel is the thickness of the keel, and we have 2 thickness templates. one for section A and one for section D. And if your keel has never been faired, generally speaking, that your keel will be maybe a 1/4 inch fatter than these. So when you go down that line and put the feeler gauge in there, you're probably going to find that it's not, it doesn't meet this. Now, you have a choice here. If you want to fair down to the minimums, you'll probably be taking some lead off, which is fine because you haven't been measured yet.
Right.
And
Right.
that's perfectly, it's a great opportunity to do that and get you down to the min number, because we're finding the thinner keels are faster than the thicker keels. Well, the thicker keels will give you a little bit more lift. So it's very important though, when you fair, not to go below these minimums though, in those two sections. And then that's that simple.
I mean, would that be something that would be covered in measurement if you were measuring it?
If I was measuring it, if the boat was out of the water and I was measuring the boat, I wouldn't be necessarily looking at your fairing. I would be looking at your keel thickness.
Right, right.
And rudder thickness. Rudder does
Yeah.
the same thing.
So it's got to be legal.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This
Yeah.
makes it legal. So,
Got it.
all right. So that's
So
pretty much the keel. I mean, it's
I got it. Yeah.
pretty straightforward. And then the rudder is a little bit easier. What we do with the rudder is we actually measure down from the top of the rudder and the aft. It's 285 millimeters to establish 0.6. And then on the front, you just drop down for number 5, and that's 171, and then you run a line. Same thing, port and starboard. And then from those points, you go down, and it's 877 on the front and 844 on the back, and you establish section 5. Those are the only two templates we have. And then those templates are here. This is section 5. And there it is. I forget how big the rudder is. And here's section 2. And it's the same thing. You're probably going to find no symmetry. You're going to find them asymmetrical.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you mentioned that.
you know, I could be, if I recall, a lot of them are port, you have to take more material off. But again, same thing. Is what's going to happen here is that we have thickness gauges for those two sections, and it would be advisable to go to your mins, or close to it, these two sections. You will find you'll probably take all the gel coat off to get to the mins, and you're going to, and all the fairing, you're going to have bare fiberglass. And you want to use a lot of Interprotect, you know, the gray stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
many coats to cover that back up, or have it re-gel coated, or whatever the fairer
Right.
needs to do. But it's basically the same thing. And then you run, what I did again is I think I took a like a 4-foot level, and I used it, you know, a really good straight edge, and I used it to connect the dots between the upper section and the lower section, and it just ran straight down. And that's basically, and it's, you know, it's a ton of work, but the results are usually pretty good. So that's it. And then I have this jig, section 5 jig, which I forget totally what it's for, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. I have no idea. I think it might be the bottom of the keel. I'm not bottom of the rudder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's
but-
nothing to do with the old float line stuff.
No, that's a different. That's
Yeah.
a whole different system. I got different gauges
Yeah,
for that.
I remember
Okay,
that.
okay.
Remember
But
that.
I think I don't know. It says section 5 jig, so it may be something.
Right.
No, section
it's
5.
section
Section
5.
5. I want to say it's the leading edge of the keel.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't remember. It's been a long time since I've used this one.
Oh, we'll try it.
But I think what it does, it gives you the contour that you can use for the leading edge. I'm almost positive.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's it. And that's it. I mean, that's the whole package. And
Okay.
you know, so you get the tape measure here. It's got the millimeters on it, and then that's it. And then you just basically go to town with a grinder and
Get it off.
get it all faired down. Lots of barrier coat on the lead. You'll pay for it for years to come if that's not done.
Yeah.
That's where your money is. You get I don't know how many gallons. I mean, Interprotect's like $1.20 a gallon or $100 if you get a discount, but it's worth every penny of putting that back that on the lead,
Yeah.
because you probably have repairs that, you know, you bring the boat out, it's got all the pock marks on it.
Yeah,
And that's just, the factory did a really crappy job of prepping the keels. And one of the things that you're gonna find is that when you do take everything off the keel, you're gonna find little fillers all over, little, I don't know what they used at the time. And it'd be best to pick those fillers out, because those fillers are weak and they cause, water gets in there and they'll start popping. That's actually the start of a lot of your pock marks on the keel, is the old filler that's in there.
okay,
It
okay,
just fails, so you know.
yeah,
It's real obvious when you sand the keel down, you'll see old
Yeah.
filler in there.
well, when I got the boat waterlined, I put a barrier protect on it.
Oh, it's a waterlines boat?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't faired, but then,
So it's not fair, but they did the bottom.
yeah,
Okay. Usually they fair it,
that was a long time ago.
but, okay. You may find if waterlines, I don't know, you may find the keel to be very good if waterlines had it. They may not have done a complete fairing job, but they generally, before they put bottom paint on it, they'll
Yeah,